Yeah, this is Point Black on a news break where Trumpy Bear has to turn himself in. Oh yeah, and he going to jail. They have won the battle. Uh-huh. Oh, there they have. Because what people missed was that was the point. You see, you need to go. You know what people need to do? I'm gonna tell you what you need to do. Hold on. One of the things people need to do is look up a private investigator sitcom and look up the private investigator sitcom of the guy named Columbo. You know what I'm saying? If you look at the private investigation sitcom that used to come on TV a while back, I think probably the 70s, you know what I'm saying? And you know, reruns in the 80s and so on and so on, some in the 90s. Look up Columbo and look at the way Columbo investigates the investigation that he's investigating. And look at it, the way he does it. You know what I'm saying? And you would begin to see why certain things has to be done a certain way in order to bring about a change, to bring about an answer, to bring about a good look at it, to bring about many things like this. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to leave it as mysterious as people want it to be. But this has to happen. This is what you don't understand. We expected this. We already knew this. We already was ready to see this happen. This was a part of, you know what I'm saying, the investigation as a sheriff, you know what I'm saying, John Sheriff Point Black, Sergeant of Dogs, you know what I'm saying, to go along and see how it plays out. Because that's just as important as anything else. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna leave the bag where it's at, but at the same time, we're gonna check out my man over here, Doc Rich, on his joint. I already gave him a thumbs up already because my man be right on it. I'm loving this brother, man. I'm loving the way he comes up and he booms and he puts the info out there. You know what I'm saying? And he boom, gets it on point, you know what I'm saying? And he does it beautifully and flawlessly. His name is Doc Rich. He has 1.2 million views. I want to see that 1.2 million go up to like something like 41 point something 2 million. You know what I'm saying? Give my man more than that. Give my man more than that. So without further ado, let's go in here and look at my man Doc Rich and the way he laid this here out. And the way he laid this here out. Look, check it out.
Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button if you are new. If you'd like to help me out even further with this YouTube algorithm too, watch this video to the very end. Helps out tremendously. Shout out to Dr. Steve Turley on this video clip. But let's dive in.
I think that this is a very weak case that's going to die very quickly, at least as far as being prosecuted in Georgia courts. You do have attorneys for Mark Meadows, who's Trump's former chief of staff, who filed a motion a couple of days ago to have a case transferred to federal district court, which they entitled because of a statutory immunity for federal offices, which is the case, obviously, with Mr. Meadows, as well as Mr. Clark, who was a DOJ attorney. So this case does not have, and it's not just, David, a transfer venue to a federal court. It is also an immunity to which they're both entitled. And as I've argued for in an article for you a little while ago, President Trump has a constitutionally based immunity based upon the Supreme Court case that's called Nixon versus Fitzgerald, that gives him absolute immunity for all the actions done within the outer perimeter of his constitutional duties, even if those actions were unlawful. So the Fulton County case is not going to hold.
Yeah. Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, and more legal experts are coming out and saying precisely what you just heard. Trump has absolute immunity.
This guy speaking now is Doc Rich, and him. But this guy now is Dr. Last name Turley. Look him up also. Dr. No, his name is hold on a second, big one.
From prosecution for actions taken as president. And now we have what looks like the first of a number of judicial decisions that are saying just that. A Pennsylvania judge has just ruled that President Trump cannot be sued or indicted precisely because of the protection provided to him by presidential immunity. Judge Michael Erdos has just ruled that Trump's immunity extends to a tweet he posted and statements he made during a Pennsylvania State Senate committee hearing in November of 2020, where Trump, of course, alleged fraudulent activity in the state's election counting process. The lawsuit against Trump was brought by a supervisor of Pennsylvania's voting machines during the 2020 election, and that supervisor claimed that President Trump and Rudy Giuliani had together conspired to slander him and cause him to receive death threats and even suffer 2 heart attacks. I mean, poor guy. But according to this Pennsylvania judge, Trump's actions are indeed protected under what's called presidential immunity. Now, this protection...
This is a switch bike. This is a switch bike. No, this is a switch bike.
What's my bullshit? Okay, come on, we're going back to it now.
Immunity. This protection comes from the Supreme Court case called Nixon versus Fitzgerald. And as you heard at the beginning from constitutional law scholar David Rivkin, the decision
Was a Supreme Court case that dealt with immunity from prosecution of government officials performing discretionary functions when their actions did not violate clearly established law.
gives the president absolute immunity for all actions done as president, even if those actions were unlawful. So it's very, very interesting. And now it's starting to make the rounds more and more that these 4 cases against Trump may indeed end up getting tossed out precisely because even the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case, they all deal with actions Trump engaged in as president. And it's already happening in Georgia. In the Georgia case, we're already seeing the beginning of this thing getting totally tossed out. Defense attorney Leslie McAdoo Gordon is arguing that Mark Meadows, Trump's former chief of staff, he's already in the process of basically ending the case, and he's doing it by asking the federal court to remove the case from the state court to the federal court on grounds that it targets his actions as a federal official. Now, according to Gordon, this is intrinsic to the very structure of our federalist system, of which the current Supreme Court, the conservative majority there, has been an avid defender. So the operative principle here is that federal officials can't be targeted under state laws for actions they took in their official capacity. This is part of the federalist system in which certain issues are reserved for states and others for the federal government to handle. And here's the key. What Gordon found in her research was that in previous cases like this, when federal courts intervened, in every instance, when the removal was granted, when the case was taken away from local prosecutors, in every instance, the case got dismissed. And so that's why this fellow at the beginning of this video, the constitutional...
Oh boy, it's getting good in every situation. That's tough. Could you imagine? And I'm going to get back to the video real quick because it was getting juicy. I know. It was getting real juicy. It was getting real juicy. But could you imagine? Not only did they throw everything at him in the book, but then it all got dismissed. And now he's back on the campaign trail, totally free of all this BS, totally free of the circus of the indictments. Indictments no more. You can't say indictment. And now he's running free. Y'all remember The Lion King? We all watched The Lion King when we were kids, when we were younger, right? A lot of us, I'm sure. The Lion King, when the hyenas were in the cave, and one of them was like Mufasa, and the rest of them was like ooh, Mufasa, ooh. You know, I just imagine Democrat elites when the name Trump comes up, they just start saying ooh, Trump, ooh, like because they know what's coming. They know what's coming. But let's jump back into this juicy clip, Speller.
David Rivkin. That's why he doesn't think this case will ever even see the light of day. Meadows' lawyers have already petitioned for the case to be removed from the local courts to the federal courts, and whenever that's done, the case is basically thrown out. But there's another way, on top of all of this, there's another way for Trump to get full immunity from prosecution. I absolutely love this because it's all about how we effectively fight back against this blatant weaponization of the law. Florida Representative Matt Gaetz has put together a legislative plan to protect President Trump from prosecution. Gaetz appeared on the Charlie Kirk Show and explained precisely how Congress can make sure President Trump crushes these indictments.
You can actually bring President Trump in to give testimony to the Congress, and in doing so, immunize him. Now, there's different forms of immunity that take place at the committee level, subcommittee level. In some instances, for full immunity, you have to have more of a supermajority vote. But if you had a supermajority vote of a committee, like Speaker McCarthy could set up a select committee tomorrow that could bring Trump in and immunize him, and then we could proceed with the very legitimate investigative work that we're doing of the Bidens and the corrupt DOJ. Obviously, we're aware of the ability for any person to plead the fifth. You can dissolve someone's ability to plead the fifth if you immunize them. And so Congress has this ability that's been recognized. It's even laid out in 18 U.S.C.A. 6002 and 6005, if folks want to look it up. But there, you've got the ability to say, well, we're hereby compelling your testimony. We're giving you immunity for anything you say to us and anything that would lead to. And so, for example, if President Trump came in and said, I'm here to give you testimony about the witch hunt, the abuse of criminal process, that Congress has legitimate oversight equities to resolve. And if he were to say things to us, we could immunize him for that conduct that he were to discuss.
Does it take a vote, or does it?
Happens, but these aren't peaceful times.
Is it a committee vote? Is it the whole House that has to vote on immunization? And when was the last time this statute was used?
I don't know when the last time it was used. I can say it can be any committee or subcommittee that can grant immunity. So we could even bring him into the subcommittee chaired by my good friend and colleague Andy Biggs, the crime subcommittee. That has jurisdiction over some of these activities of the Department of Justice. And if Trump were to essentially become a whistleblower, you have to think about it almost like whistleblower protections. Trump, the ultimate whistleblower, potentially the beneficiary of congressional immunity on some of the information.
So there you have it.
Holy moly. See, that's why I like Matt Gaetz, man. He always on top of his, you know, SHIT. He always on top of it. You know? Shout out to Matt Gaetz. My guy. My guy. Man, see, I knew there was always something good about that guy, Matt Gaetz. Mm-hmm. From the time when they were voting on the Speaker of the House. Goodness gracious, I couldn't even think of the word I needed to use. And he was adamant. You had, I believe his name is Dan, Congressman Dan with the eye patch. I believe it's Dan, who called him like a traitor, and I believe that was Dan. Let me know in the comment section if I'm remembering things incorrectly. Okay, calling him a traitor. I'm like, hold on, your fellow Republican is a traitor because he's saying no, like this isn't what the people want. How is he a traitor? Make that make sense. And then there was somebody else that got in his face, or was it Lauren Boebert's face? It was one of them, Matt Gaetz or Lauren. Shout out to Matt Gaetz and Lauren Boebert, man. They are doing some fantastic work. Shout out to both of them. Anyway, let's continue on.
According to Matt Gaetz, a congressional committee or even a subcommittee could call in President Trump tomorrow as a whistleblower, as it were, right, of government weaponization and corruption. And given that status, the committee can grant him immunity from the corrupt charges, the corrupt indictments that Trump, as a whistleblower, would be exposing. It's pretty neat stuff. Trump would testify before a House committee as a whistleblower, which in turn would trigger immunity protections from the very things he's testifying about, which of course would involve all 4 of these sham indictments. I just love the way Gaetz is thinking here. He's fighting back. He's not sitting back giving these prosecutions, these persecutions, these obvious political witch hunts, the benefit of the doubt. I mean, I've said it before. Why on earth would the Democrats ever feel the need to have to cover up their corruption when they have so many Republicans so consistently willing to always give them the benefit of the doubt? Well, Gaetz is stepping up to the plate here, and he's fighting fire with fire, and I absolutely love it. So we now have 2 paths for President Trump to get immunity, a legal path and a legislative path. Either way, it's time for all of us to fight back and win.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Hey, I told y'all it was going to be interesting. Didn't live up to your expectations.
Yes.
Shout out to big shout out to Dr. Steve Turley. All right, that's where this video came from. Big shout out to Dr. Steve Turley. All right, we appreciate you, my brother. We appreciate you. All right, but did this clip live up to your expectations?
Yes, we did.
Let me know in the comment section, because it exceeded mine. It far exceeded mine. I'll tell you that now. All right, so not only is there a legal path out, but I believe there was 2 legal paths out. There's also a legislative path out of this entire situation. Get your popcorn ready. Get your popcorn ready. It's about to be a movie, and it's going to be the greatest movie of all time. I hope Trump makes a docuseries about this entire situation, right? I hope he's hiring a camera crew as we speak to follow him around everywhere from today forward. And in 2025, 2026, he releases the greatest docuseries of all time, how the government was allegedly, of course, I say allegedly, weaponized against them, and how it was all shut down overnight, completely shut down. And then they started panicking because they knew what was coming. Trump believes in an eye for an eye. I released a YouTube short of him saying that. So make sure you're checking out my YouTube shorts. I drop them every single day. Make sure you're coming back to the channel after you watch the long format videos, right? Come back to the channel later on and go over to the shorts tab and check out those as well. Because you can bet they're going to be there. There's going to be some new ones there. All right? But I dropped the YouTube short probably a week ago now where Trump said, I believe in an eye for an eye. If they're going to come after me, you know what's going to happen in return. And I think they know that. They all know that as well. So to watch them shake and shiver in their boots and to see the strategies that they employ to try to wiggle their way out of the situation, if that's leaving the country, saying, hey, I'm taking a hiatus to somewhere else for a while, I'm retiring, or hey, if you see them start sucking up to Trump, or whatever the case is, it's going to be a movie that I would love to sit down and watch. And I don't really watch too many movies because I always fall asleep, but I'm gonna stay wide awake for that one. As a matter of fact, we might check it out together right here on the channel, baby. Right here. Y'all let me know what you thought about this one in the comment section below. Like, share, comment. Make sure you share this video. Share the video. America needs to hear and see this. All right? It's up to us to get the message out. Mainstream media isn't going to do it for us. We have to do it ourselves. All right? Make sure you guys are sharing the video, liking, leaving a comment, watching to the very end. That all helps out as well to get this video pushed out to more people.
All right, that's a little bit of my man right there. You know, dropping the bomb. He's dropping the bomb before the calm. So we're going to wait and see how these things play out. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We're going to watch how this here play out. You know? Even here, Obama behind the crime. You know what I'm saying? Watch this one. This is another one right here.
Call your cable company and cancel your subscription.
That I like, you know, because we're doing a little YouTube as usual. So, you know, hang in there.